What is going on, everybody? And welcome
Man,
to another happy Friday and another college football showdown with your boy Izzy here, presented by Prime Sports World. I'm with my main man from the Daily Blitz.blog, Christian Simpson, and there goes my other co-host, Matt James, here tonight. But gentlemen, we have a good show tonight. A lot of great games. But before we start the show, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast here at Prime Sports World on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. In case you missed, you can catch us on streaming platforms as well. But guys, we got a eventful Saturday. Some great games this week. I can't wait to cover them with you guys today, and we got some games to talk about. What a classic right now going on in Florida versus Virginia right now.
yeah, it really is. I heard Florida State, they really had to fight back to win to get back into this game. It's in overtime right now, and hopefully Florida State didn't do what I always say. Hopefully they don't look ahead and they take this out. They got a huge
Actually,
game next week. They
yeah,
got a huge game next week, Izzy against the U. Florida will be in the building.
yes. Florida will be in the. Matt James, your thoughts on this game right now?
Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of flipping back and forth a little bit as I saw Florida State came back. Virginia just went ahead again.
Yeah, they did. They just scored a
But
touchdown.
I got it on the main TV on Fox right now for the TCU ASU game. But I got the flipped it over in overtime for the Florida State Virginia.
Yeah, that TCU
So,
team, man. That TCU team's tough, bro. They
oh,
played
absolutely.
last week. They were I
God
believe
damn it, love it.
they were last week they beat a good SMU team from
SMU team, yeah, they really did. And remember, I think people tend to forget, Izzy and Matt, this is a team that represented, that was in a national championship a couple years ago. So not too far removed from that. And they're very well coached under Sonny
Yeah,
Dykes.
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
absolutely. I mean, they got good receivers. I mean, Josh Hoover's a hell of a quarterback who can sling it all over the field, and their defense is pretty solid too. I mean, TCU's going to be a tough team to keep out of the Big 12 championship too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They got a quarterback in Josh Hoover. He's coming into his own. They Eric McAllister, big threat, big wide receiver
Mm-hmm.
for TCU. He had
He
3
hasn't even
touchdowns
gotten
last
into
week.
this game yet, and yeah,
Yeah, he had 3 touchdowns last week against SMU. He looked unguardable at some points in the second half, especially when SMU kind of went up a little bit. TCU kind of took the reins on him, and Eric McAllister was like a big, reason for that. But this looks like it's going to be a little bit of a track meet. Some good Friday night football, guys.
Yeah, it really is.
Sam Levin looking good right now. Matt James, 12 of 17, 151 yards, 1 touchdown.
got
Yeah.
it to Jordan Tyson. I mean, getting that connection going early,
Absolutely.
which is exactly what ASU needs, and they needed to claw back into this one. I mean, it was starting to get out of hand for a minute there, but they fought back and brought it within the field goal. So
14 points in the second quarter for ASU. And right now, man, Florida State is on the ropes. I mean, it down 8 in the overtime in the second OT. This is gonna be
Interesting.
Else, right?
Interesting.
I mean,
We're gonna keep it locked in as we're going through the show. Let's talk about last week's headlines as number 21 Michigan squeaked past Nebraska in Nebraska. This is a pretty damn good game. We talked about it a little bit. It wasn't on our games to watch last week, but we did talk about this game a little bit. Dylan Raiola, 30 of 41, 308 yards, 3 touchdowns, one interception. And again, I don't know if it was, because they were leaning on the running game of Justice Haynes, transfer from Alabama, but they didn't let Bryce Underwood let it go again. But they didn't need him to, right? Good, just manage the game. But that Nebraska team is up and coming. They're going to be a player in the Big Ten. I think by next year that team should really take the next step, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so.
Haynes is the next great Michigan running back.
I think so too. I think so too about Nebraska, Izzy, and they're well coached. I mean, Matt Rule, I thought was more tailored tailor made for the college game than he was the NFL. And they're playing hard for him. You're seeing more effort for him than you did any time under Scott Frost all those years when he was their coach. And Michigan, yeah, they edged us out. I know we both had this as an upset, but nah, Michigan
Yeah,
did just enough
it
to
was
win.
close.
And yeah, it was close.
Yeah. I mean, Michigan, I mean, I'll give it to Dylan Raiola. I mean, yeah, three tutties, 300 plus passing yards, but Michigan got to him for 7 sacks, which is huge in something like this, especially if you're keeping it to the ground. And Michigan playing basically Michigan type ball. Keep it to the ground and let your defense go to work,
Mm-hmm.
which is what they did. And I mean, it was a close one. I mean, Nebraska's not far off, as you guys mentioned, from taking that next step that they have been trying to the last year or two here to become, towards that top tier of the Big Ten.
Man, and just to kind of talk about Justice Haynes a little bit. Man, he's looking like the best running back in the nation right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know if
yeah,
any of you guys would agree or if there's anybody else that you guys like, but from the eye test and just from week to week, I mean, this kid is running like his hair is on fire, well balanced, strong, runs behind his pads, and Michigan just knows how to find these great running backs. And he was good at he was good at Alabama,
yeah.
last year.
He
So
definitely was. We talk about a north-south runner. He's not the biggest guy, but he runs like he's a power back, and he
yeah,
doesn't shy away from that contact. Just a powerful back. He's shifty. He knows how to elevate himself into the second and the third tier of the
mhm.
defense. And
Yes, sir.
yeah, I mean, he fits the mold, like Matt said, of a Michigan Wolverines running back.
And I know we give Dylan Raiola a lot of flack because his mannerisms are like Pat Mahomes. We're like, man, come on, be your own guy. But man, you know what? If you're gonna be like Pat Mahomes, you better have the game to back it up, right, Christian? Right, Matt? And
Yeah.
Yeah, most
definitely
definitely.
Dylan has the game to back it up. Especially he showed it in this game.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So, anyways, moving on to the next game on the slate from last week, as number 19 Indiana dominated number 9 Illinois, as Illinois is expected to drop in the polls, and they did drop in the polls this week. But yeah, Indiana just put a shellacking on Illinois, 63-10, as the Hoosiers not only can do it on the hardwood, but they can do it on the football field as well. Fernando Mendoza was damn near perfect, 21 of 23, 267 yards, 5 touchdowns. He put on a performance for the ages, one of the best performances I've seen probably in the last 5 years at the quarterback position in the Big Ten as a whole, which is pretty much saying something. He was so surgical with throwing the football. And then on the other side, Luke Altmaier, 1 touchdown, 146 yards. Illinois really struggled to keep up with the Indiana offense. And let me ask you guys something, man. How good can Indiana be? I mean, the way they get up and down that field. Kirk Signetti is. I mean, everywhere he goes, Christian. Everywhere he goes, he's a winner.
Yeah,
Everywhere he
yeah.
goes, he's a winner.
Yeah, he really is. And, I think Indiana, they're trying to show that last year wasn't a fluke. Look, we deserve to be here. We deserve to show the world what we're capable of doing. I know, we didn't really do as well as expected when we got to the playoff, but a full year under their belt, and I think their offense is a little better with Fernando Mendoza than it was with Curtis O'Rourke. And
Yeah.
that's no slight to him, but they can do more with Fernando. They can move him. He's surgical from the pocket. He spreads the ball to the open receivers. And Izzy, you know this, and Matt knows this too. If your quarterback doesn't trust you, you ain't getting that ball.
And one thing I can
Exactly.
say about that game, Matt, I'll let you go after this. Like they really that pass was set up by the 49 carries for 312 yards on the ground, by the way, because they ran that ball right down Illinois' throat all game long. The front line was just more aggressive. they had a better push, and they won in the trenches the whole game en route to 3 touchdowns on the ground. I mean,
That's normally what the formula to success is in football. I get it's a
Mhm.
pass heavy league, but if you can win the trenches on both sides of the ball, no 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have a good day at the office.
absolutely. Matt, any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, 100% on that. I mean, I turned that game on. I saw the score, and I'm sitting there like, all right, when is Illinois gonna just slow things down and start chipping away at this lead? Because I mean, I mentioned last week that I picked Illinois to take this one on the road with the veterans
The ball
and
game.
the experience they came in with this. To go into a tough environment, in Indiana, to win this one, but they just did not look like they wanted to be there at all the entire game.
Yeah.
And I give it to Indiana. I mean, Signetti brought his team and he took it to him the entire time. And they got a couple tough road tests coming up. So we'll see who they, really are away from Bloomington there. Or, yeah, in Iowa and going to Eugene in 2 weeks. So
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like Illinois just, the moment was kind of too big for them.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of hype in this game, especially Indiana kind of being a bit of a rival. It seems like everybody in the Big Ten is a rival of each other,
Oh,
to
for
be honest
sure.
with you. And so, but this is like one of those games where it's like bragging rights. Illinois and Indiana has some tough games on the hardwood, and Indiana's been a whipping boy in the Big
Yeah,
Ten for ever, pretty much.
yeah.
And now they're whipping teams, and so it's crazy to see. But Illinois has a bounce back opportunity this week going up against USC. It's their homecoming this weekend, and they should come out firing on all cylinders against the Trojans. Hopefully, to kind of get back into the college football playoff picture. But they have as Florida State gets upset by Virginia and they're storming the field.
Wow.
oh,
Wow.
Oh
oh
my
my
gosh.
gosh.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That what? This game is a product of not looking ahead. Right,
Wow.
Yeah,
Quincy? We say it all the time.
I say it all the time because due to the simple fact, look, you overlook opponents, and to me, that's a reflection upon coaching. You got to be able to keep your team focused on what's in front of them. That's what Bill Belichick did with the Patriots all those years. Look, focus on what's in front of you, and whoever you're looking ahead to, they're going to be on the schedule regardless, whether you win, whether you lose, or whether you tie the game. I can't stress this enough.
That was a 3 and
Yeah,
1 ball
absolutely. I
club.
mean, kudos to Virginia. Good 4-1 start, taking a huge upset here. So we'll see, how far they can take this
Yeah,
start to the season.
Any weekend, man. I'm telling you, you get a little bit of
any weekend.
momentum.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of juice. You get a little bit of momentum. You get a little bit of belief that we can beat these guys. I mean, Florida State. Let's keep it real though, guys. With Florida State, right? I mean, like we didn't have like the highest expectations with Florida State. They just kind of played into this top 10 role, right? Because of how dominant they've looked with Thomas Castellanos. And I still think that they're going to be a dominant football team the rest of the season in the ACC. I think it's Miami and Florida State conference to lose, right? I think it's going
Yeah,
to come out down to both of those teams because Clemson, I think, is totally out of the picture in my opinion, the way they've started the season. But this is a huge win for Virginia. And this is a huge conference win for Virginia, right? Because let's say Virginia has a great rest of the season. They could possibly be in a CFP at the end of the year if they continue to play this way.
and
So
that's
this is
the beautiful thing about a 12-team college football playoff. The teams you don't expect to make it can sneak their way in. I mean, this is a resume building win. These are the wins that the committee looks at.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, wow. To start the college football weekend off with an upset like that is crazy. And man, you know what? We still got another game that's pretty damn good going on with Matt James and Arizona State and TCU as well. So we'll be on the lookout for that game. That one probably won't end until after the show. But anyways, moving on to the next game we got on the slate is Oklahoma. Went ahead and defeated Auburn last week. Thoughts on this game? I know John Mateer kind of, I believe,
Mhm.
got a little banged up in this game. But this was Jackson Dart's. This was Jackson Dart's, comeback against Oklahoma. John Mateer looked really good, 24-36. But Jackson Arnold
Uh,
was 21 to 32, one touchdown, 220 yards. But Oklahoma just looks for real. They look like legit SEC powerhouse right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, they
The way
did,
Brent
but
Venables got them playing.
yeah, they definitely do. But we're about to see who they really are when the meat and potatoes of their schedule is revealed. Because I know they got to go to Missouri, and Missouri always seems to play teams tough. Eli Drinkwitz, he always gets guys playing
Yeah,
those upper echelon teams really tough. They play
yeah,
Alabama, they play Tennessee, they got Red River. So
yeah.
this is
And
yeah,
and without John Mateer, he's gonna be out about a month with the broken hand.
yeah.
So it's really their defense is really gonna have to step it up. Um, and I don't know who's gonna be their quarterback. So to speak, I'm gonna have to look that up. And I'm pretty sure Brent Venables doesn't know who it's gonna be either. So, because you can't, John Mateer. I mean, you put all your eggs kind of in one basket, but every team has a backup,
yeah.
kind of plan for the backup quarterback, backup offensive game plan for the backup quarterback. So we'll see. Maybe they have to rely more on that running game. With Blaylock and those guys, but they don't really have. They haven't really displayed much of a running game, in my opinion, this season. Oklahoma has so. But John Mateer was pretty much their jack of all trades when
Yeah,
when it came to the offense. Yeah,
he definitely was, and I thought he was the most impactful transfer quarterback in the country. I mean, look, this Oklahoma offense with him under center, Izzy and Matt, it's kind of giving me flashbacks of when Baker Mayfield was there, when Kyler Murray was there, and even when Jalen Hurts was there, just the ability to move the ball down the field. And this is why we have the transfer portal. Brent
yeah,
Venables went in. He hired, he hires Ben Arbuckle in as the offensive coordinator, and then what does Ben do? He brings a quarterback that knows his system.
hmm
Yeah.
and they got a week off. They got a week off as well to kind of recoup. Then they got Kent State, which is a gimme in a way. It's a kind of a refreshing game. And then on the 11th, I already know Christian is waiting for this one. We got Red River.
Red
So
River, Red
yeah,
River. Oh
we got a
man,
couple weeks coming up, man. It's gonna be a TV. It's gonna be a TV
yeah,
for
Yeah.
that right
I
there.
mean, it's never a good time to lose your quarterback, especially when, he's getting the Oklahoma program back towards the right direction where they want to be and need to be. But having that bye week, then getting Kent State for, the first couple weeks is going to be nice for them. Looks like they're going to bring the young kid from Dallas, the sophomore,
Mike Hawkins.
Michael Hawkins Jr.,
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
start
That
that
was
Kent State game.
yeah, and rightfully so they should, because that's going to be a good, kind of let's get all the wrinkles out with you in the offense, and it's a
Oh,
big
yeah.
game. I mean, they got. I think they play Red River. I think they might be at home for that game, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, and Arch hasn't played great either. I'm pretty sure Brent Venables is going to have a hell of a game plan to stop that Texas offense when they do face them. So
yeah, yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, I
We'll
mean,
see
get
how.
your run game going, let your defense go to work, hold on to the ball. I mean, until
Yeah,
Mateer gets back in healthy and
yeah,
ready to go. So,
yeah,
I mean,
and
that's
and, and
all they have to do right now. I mean,
yeah. I
sounds
mean,
easy, but I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. I mean, they got a bit of. I mean, the only good thing about the next four games, because that's when like Mateer's probably going to be out for the next four. He'll probably be back maybe when they face Tennessee in Knoxville. Good thing is they got 3 out of 4 games at home.
yeah,
And their biggest games against Ole Miss and Texas are at home as well, with one game being on the road against South Carolina. So Trap
Exactly.
game,
Yeah,
trap
that's not
game,
going to be
trap
easy.
game, trap game.
Yep.
So so yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll get to that when it does. And then the last game of the slate last week on the week 4 headlines before we move on to the top 25. Number 17 Texas handles number 16 Utah pretty well. Even with Baron Morton going down with the concussion, as he slid, he got hit, and he had to come out. Will Hammond came in, and played really well, 13 to 16, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns. As Texas Tech beat Utah 34 to 10. In that game, Devin Dampier showed why he's not as well rounded as people thought. I mean, he's not a pocket passer. Let's just put it that way. 25
No.
38, 2 interceptions, 62 yards. And this Utah team really needed somebody to get the ball down the field against Texas Tech in this game. He wasn't able to do it. And they had a good game plan at stopping him on the quarterback runs and stuff like that and keeping him out the pocket because that's what he wants to do, kind of get out the pocket and run,
Yeah.
kind of get
Yeah.
those fast
And,
plays.
I mean, I thought it was contrasting styles of football. Like, Utah entered this game averaging 290 yards on the ground as a rushing team. I was talking to Matt about this, and, Texas Tech, run and gun. They want to put the ball over the top. It was my first time getting the chance to see Baron Morton play. And one thing you have to do when you're a road team, you got to just go in and take it. And that's exactly what Texas Tech did. And I love the way they set the tone. I think they put America on notice, Matt and Izzy,
Yeah.
because that defense, they set the tone, they set the edge, and they dared Devin Dampier to beat them from the pocket. And guess what? Couldn't do it. So, yeah, Texas Tech, I kind of get 2022 TCU vibes from them. I just think they're a tad bit more explosive, and you got to give all the credit in the world to Will Hammond. We really talk about in football the next man up mentality, and he stepped up and he threw absolute dimes. I mean, he put a lot of pressure on this Utah defense, and they couldn't do anything but respect his caliber of play. And I mean, 13. I mean, he completed 13 of his 16 pass attempts, and yeah, like Texas Tech's defense set the tone for the entire game, but in the fourth quarter, their offense joined the party.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I missed this game. I was at work during it. I was scoreboard watching. I was like, all right, low score, low score, low score. This is good for Utah. Then, bam, Texas Tech just exploded in that fourth quarter. Like they can. I mean, Texas Tech's been known to put up points at any point. So, I got to give them personal big kudos. I mean, I've always have big question marks with Texas Tech. Um, Going into, big games like this where, they start to kind of implode at times and not be able to play a more blue collar, get to the quarterback type of style, but they kept Dampier in check. And that's exactly what they needed to do. And um, my hat's off to them. They're going to be a very, very difficult team to beat.
Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, Texas Tech went in there and they took Utah's lunch money, as I like to say it.
Mhm. Oh, they stole more than that.
Yeah, they definitely. Yeah, they definitely did. They definitely did. Anyways, man, moving on to the top 25, just to kind of go over it real brief. Here. Yeah, top 5 pretty much is the same. Ohio State, Miami, Penn State, LSU, Georgia. All stay in the top 5. Oklahoma moves up 4 slots to the 7th spot. Indiana moves up all the way up to number 11, moving up 8 slots after that Illinois win. Pretty big win. As Illinois doesn't move quite out of the top 25, but they move down 14 spots. TCU, as we talked about them earlier, moves up into the top 25, up 6 spots here. Yeah, rightfully so. Indiana should be right down outside looking at the top 10. Pretty much. And then another team to kind of watch out for is USC right now. They're sitting there at number 21. They got a big win against Michigan State at home last week. Thoughts on the top 25. Anybody that Auburn moves out of the top 25.
That one.
Um,
Nah, I mean, I can't disagree with it. I really like that, that top five. You know what I'm saying? I think we're gonna know more about these teams when November comes, and I always in October. I always call November in college football statement November.
Absolutely, absolutely. Matt,
yeah, I mean, I don't have too many, you know, complaints about this. I mean, I agree with what Christian just said. I mean, just give it time, and this will continue to wrinkle itself out. I mean, USC, Illinois, we're going to see who both of them are. Continue to pan both of those teams out as they play each other this weekend. Um, we'll see. Notre Dame is hanging on by a thread right now. Onto that 22 spot, going into a tough game tomorrow against Arkansas and Fayetteville, who tends to play tough against teams of a higher tier. I mean, just looking back to last year with Tennessee going into there and being slowed down and everything. So I'm sure we're looking into that here in a few.
yeah,
Outside of that, I mean,
absolutely.
yeah, we'll see more teams like Georgia Tech, Mizzou. See how much better Vanderbilt's gotten over the last year. Teams like that. Continue to move themselves up, or well, flat on their face as they get into the beating heart of their conference schedule here in the next few
One team
weeks.
I think one team or two teams that we should watch out for. Georgia Tech moving up in the polls still.
Mhm.
Let's see how they continue. I mean, the ACC is looking pretty competitive. Just had Florida State lose.
Yeah, the
Miami's
Virginia.
full of power. Georgia Tech looks really competitive as well in the ACC. Virginia, we just talked about them. They might move into the top 25 after this game, winning against Florida State. So the SEC is looking a little bit more wide open than we thought it was at the beginning of the season with Clemson. And then another team to watch out for is Ole Miss.
Yeah,
They have a quarterback situation right now. Trinidad Chambliss is is the quarterback. He filled in for Austin Simmons. I got the start last week. Um, Lane Kiffin came out and said we still want Trinidad. We still want Austin Simmons to play, but I don't know how you can get away from Trinidad Chambliss. He's playing so damn well. Completing 67% of his passes. He's thrown no interceptions. Austin Simmons, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on the year so far. And he got that start, against Tulane. 12 of the, he's 17 of 27. 307 yards, and he's looked really good the last two games. And they're
hmm
just a different offense with this kid.
yeah.
He came from a D2 school, by the way.
Oh well.
So yeah, he came from a D2 school, and was able to make his way all the way to Ole Miss. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious to see how that plays out with Ole Miss
Yeah,
right
tomorrow will
now,
be
as
a
they're
good
kind of on
test
the
for
outside
both
looking
of
in.
them.
Yeah, exactly,
I
exactly.
mean, they got an LSU defense that's been playing at a high level. So
Oh yeah, and then it's great segue into the games next week as we got some good ones coming up on the slate, and we talked a little bit about these two teams coming up as we got number 21 USC going into Champaign, Illinois, to face the number 23 Illinois Fighting Illini as their Heisman hopeful USC Jordan Jaden Maeva looking really good. They got the number one QBR in the nation, super accurate. He's one of the best passers in the nation, 9 touchdowns, over 1,200 yards. As USC also has some fast running backs. By the way, Jesus Christ. So this is no, they do. I mean against
yeah,
Michigan State, they deployed two guys. It was Wayman Jordan and Eli Sanders. I mean, golly, Eli Sanders. I mean, he's 5'10", 200 pounds, but he doesn't look that big out there. And he's out there. He's so fast. I mean, he's so fast. And then Wayman Jordan 5'9". So you got two small guys. It's like lightning and lightning out there running the football. And they got Jaden Maeva just throwing darts out there to Makai Lemon, and you know what I'm saying? It's looking like a real potent offense. Albeit I know it was against Michigan State, and actually Michigan State actually lost their captain or linebacker from a targeting call, and then their other starting linebacker got a really nasty injury, concussion injury or something like that, neck injury or something like that. But anyways, can Illinois bounce back after that loss last week to Indiana against USC?
They're gonna have to because, like, yo, you gotta show some type of pride. You gotta show some type of effort. You know what I'm saying? I think I like what I'm seeing from them. You know, any Lincoln Riley coach team, the offense is always going to stand out, and I think that might be a little too much for Illinois. I like the Trojans to get a win in Champaign.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Matt.
mean, USC's coming in flying high, back to looking like themselves of many years. USC Trojan football. I mean, Illinois is catching them at the wrong time, probably just like Indiana. I mean, both teams flying high coming into both the games the last couple of weeks, and I mean, USC's used to this type of game, any kind of hostile environment. Um, I don't see them bouncing back in this one. Give me USC in this one.
Um, Yeah, give me USC as well on this one. And I think I'm with both of you guys as I say, yeah, Illinois does need this win in a big way, to kind of climb back into the rankings as in the CFP. I mean, they were looking great, but I mean, you look great against nobodies. When you look great in the beginning of the season when you play nobody. Then when you play against your first ranked opponent all year, you drop the ball, you lose by 53 points. USC is actually just as potent as Indiana, in my opinion, and has even more of a talented quarterback, in my opinion. Not the hotter quarterback. I mean, well, actually, it's kind of hard to disagree with how hot Jaden Maeva is, but he's definitely one of the more talented quarterbacks in the nation. But yeah, give me USC. They're favored by 6.5 points. I'll take the points for USC against Illinois. Next game we have on the slate. We just talked about Ole Miss, kind of going through a little bit of a quarterback carousel right now as they, let in number 4 LSU into Oxford this weekend. As Ole Miss is actually favored by 2.5 points here in this game. Who you guys got? I'll start with you, Matt James. Who do you got winning this game? As Garrett Nussmeier has kind of cooled off from his offensive prowess last year, but LSU still top 5 team just because of that defense this year.
Yeah, you're leading right into what I was pretty much going to say is the fact that LSU, had some issues throughout last year, defense staying strong. But so far this year, the defense has kept them in that top 5 ranking, despite the fact that, everyone's expected Nussmeier to fully break out, get into Heisman, mode, especially stat wise. But he hasn't needed to yet. And I feel like LSU, this is a big game for both teams. I mean, we were talking about this a few minutes ago with the Ole Miss quarterbacks, and this is the true test for them to see how well they play against this stout defense from LSU. And this is a huge game for LSU to stay undefeated and put this signature win going into their march towards the college football playoff themselves. And I mean, they're my championship team, and I'm going to stick with them. And this is going to be a fun one to watch tomorrow afternoon in Oxford. But give me LSU in a close one.
Christian.
Yeah, I'm with Matt. I mean, Matt, look, I think Matt's been around me a little too long without, he just broke that down. But yeah, I like LSU. And you guys know this is my favorite defense in the country. I love Brady Swenson. I love Whit Weeks, or all the Weeks brothers, and Harold Perkins. I think he's the heart and soul of this entire defense. Ole Miss is going to keep it close because they always seem to play these upper echelon opponents really tough. Lane Kiffin's going to have his men ready to play, but LSU, I just think they're on a road to show that look, we can win games with Brian Kelly, and they're win this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with LSU as well. You know, as much as I like the last two games with Trinidad Chambliss, um, I'll say this: he came from Ferris State University. You ain't faced no defense like this in Ferris State. I'll tell you that much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's all good to go against Arkansas. It's all good to go against Tulane. You're supposed to beat Tulane, especially at home. Arkansas didn't have your tape, but now we got two games of tape, and we got an LSU defense that's the top, 10, 15 unit, one of the best units in college football, coming at you. And when you got the Weeks brothers, Wet Weeks, and then you got Harold Perkins, and you got all those guys coming down, barreling in on you, it's a bit of a different story. I know that Trinidad Chambliss does give them a little bit more poise. He's a senior. He gives them a little bit more calm ability, and he gives them a little, he's not afraid, right? He's not afraid, and he'll make the big plays. But against LSU, I don't know how many big plays those are going to be. Give me LSU. I know they're an underdog in this game, which is a slap in the face, in my opinion. But I'll get LSU over Ole Miss this week. And then the next game we have on the slate as we got number 17, Alabama, going up against number 5, Georgia. And this is going to be a hell of a game. Georgia's favored by 2.5 points in this game. This is a hell of a game last year with two quarterbacks that were – it was an outstanding game. We remember we talked about this game all last year. Brian Williams with a great sideline, with a great performance in that game. It was just a back and forth affair. And I'll tell you this right now, I can't wait to see this one as Gunnar Stockton. Georgia is playing at home. It's a 6:30 game. In Alabama, I want to say this, man. After that first loss to Florida State, they've responded. I know it's a UL Monroe 73-0. That's what I want to see. Beat a team like that by 70 points, and then you go against Wisconsin and you beat the living daylights out of them 38-14. As Ty Simpson looks like a legitimate SEC quarterback and one of the next best quarterbacks, one of the greater quarterbacks in line to come in and play for Alabama. 24-29, 382 yards, 4 touchdowns against Wisconsin in his last game. Ryan Williams also got back on track in that game, 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. Thoughts on this game, Christian?
Man, I previewed this one on Tuesday. I was so excited for it. It's another chapter. Alabama, they have been a thorn in Kirby Smart's side. I mean, I know Kirby has that one win, which was the national championship, and that was a game they could have won last year against Alabama in Tuscaloosa, but Alabama just proved to be a little too much. What it mattered most. Jam Miller's coming back. Yeah, Jam Miller's coming back for Alabama, and he means so much to this offense, not just as a runner, but as a receiver. He's that safety valve for Ty Simpson, and he can block as well. So he's going to have to pick up a lot of these exotic looks that Georgia is going to run. And Georgia, they showed you why they're still one of the top dogs, pun intended, in college football, just due to the simple fact Tennessee had so many opportunities to put them away. But they left that door slightly cracked. And I'm watching Kristen Miller for Georgia. Georgia always has those great interior defensive linemen, and I think he's the next great one. He's going to push that pocket. He's going to stop that run. Is going to help make Alabama a one-dimensional football team, and I think Georgia gets a win in Athens. I like Georgia to win this game 31.
Matt.
Yeah, I agree with Christian. I'm going to take Georgia on this one. I just think Kirby Smart's got his voice getting on that championship caliber level that Alabama has yet. I mean, yet to show. Still looking back at that Florida State game, and this is definitely one that Alabama wants to show that. All right, hey, that was a slip up beginning of the season. That's not who we are, and I just don't think this is the game that they're going to be able to come in and win in Athens. Give me Georgia, and I'm going to take them by probably 10 points in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go Georgia as well at home, but I think this is going to be a high scoring game. This is, I did talk about how I think the Georgia defense at the beginning of the season was going to be good. I did talk about how they have some talented defensive backs, but it just hasn't really all accumulated this season as they've been some high, especially against Tennessee, right? 44 points against Tennessee. 41 points allowed by Tennessee. I know talking about Marshall and Austin P. Not even going to talk about them, because they easily handle those two lower teams. But I think when it comes down to it, that defensive backfield does have to be a little bit better. And I do agree with Christian. I think that in the front seven, Georgia's going to have to get after it. Alabama has played well defensively as well. But yeah, give me Georgia to win. I love I think the offense has a little bit more continuity. I think they're going to be able to make some big plays with Gunnar Stockton, and it showed against that Tennessee game was a real big barometer for me, as opposed to how good Georgia's offense could be this season. And I think they're a good one. They just got to make sure that they keep Alabama contained on the outside, especially Ryan Williams with some of those DBs that they have back there. Moving on to our game of the week. And this one is a Big Ten affair. We got number 3 Penn State. Number 6 Oregon going into number 3 Penn State, going into Happy Valley in this game. As you got, Drew Aller on one side, and you got the Heisman hopeful and Dante Moore on the other side. You got, Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton on one side, and you have a bunch of Oregon playmakers on the other side. I'll start with you, Christian. I know you probably got something cooking up for this one.
Izzy, Matt, I need y'all right now. Y'all already know. Let's do it.
No.
Listen, on my count. One,
One,
2, 3. Shameless plug
number
number
one.
1, baby. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. It's contrasting styles of football. Oregon, they've done it with balance. They've done it with the explosives, and it's time to put respect on Dan Lanning's name. He, to me, is a top 3 coach in the country. He recruits. He gets the best out of young men, and I think Oregon's in great shape to win a championship very soon. If within these next 2 or 3 years or so, whereas you look at Penn State, what do they want to do? They want to turn the game into a street fight. They want to punch you in the mouth. They want to run the football, and they have the best duo of running backs in the country, and Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton. I look at Oregon. This is going to be my first time getting the chance to see Dante Moore play. It to me, I want to see if he can handle what he's about to experience, which is a whiteout game at Beaver Stadium. And I'm watching the Corey and Moore for a receiver, and he fits exactly what you need to do for Oregon offense. And for Penn State, I'm watching Nick Singleton because Oregon's defense needs to be ready. He could take what looks to be a small game and turn it into a large chunk play. I preview this tomorrow, an hour before the game. Be on the lookout.
Matt.
Yeah, both teams, I mean, coming into this one haven't really played anybody, but everybody circled this game on the schedule. My thing is, who are these teams and how, good can they be? And this is the type of test both teams, look forward to every year. Um, Penn State and their environment at the whiteout, especially during night games, is very difficult to play in. And Oregon's always looking to take that next step um, towards being an actual top tier team. They took down Ohio State last year at home. Um, and I mean, one of the big things is, can Drew Allard take a step towards being an actual Heisman candidate? Like a lot of people were talking about, preseason and um, and how good is Dante Moore to coming in, against a very difficult environment against this good Penn State team. I'm going to take Oregon in an upset on the road. Um, Down on Happy Valley tomorrow to win on the last drive in this one, and um, taking the next step towards the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, man. My thing is can Oregon, come across from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast and win in Happy Valley?
Right.
One guy I'm looking at
Mhm.
getting after the quarterback is Dennis Sutton. Um, he's a guy that we know, paired up with
Abdul
uh,
Carter.
Abdul Carter last year. Yeah, sorry, thank you, Christian. Who's on your he's on your New York Giants, right? Correct.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm just trying to get all my thoughts here. So I think Danny Sutton is a guy that Oregon really has to circle, but not just him, right? You got two linebackers in Tony Rojas, Amari Campbell, that really get after it as well, downhill linebackers. And what have Penn State always been? Linebacker, right? You got good linebackers, you got good defense in Penn State. You got a really good secondary where the holes in the secondary are very minimal. The lanes to throw are going to be very minimal. So they're Oregon's going to have to be able to run the football against Penn State, and Penn State will run the football against Oregon, right? One guy in the passing game for Penn State, Trevor Pena, right? We talked about him from Syracuse. 9 touchdowns last year. He was one of their leading receivers last year, and now he's transfers over to Penn State, and he's one of their best. He's probably their best pass catcher this year. So they're kind of still working out the kinks with their transfer wide receivers. I mean, losing Harrison Wallace to Ole Miss is like
It's huge.
you don't
Yeah.
get like,
It's huge.
it's huge. You don't kind of overnight fix that. So that's why Penn State has had to rely on the running game so far. But I think in this game, you'll start to see a little bit more of that passing offense kind of open up a little bit. Give me Penn State at home against Oregon. But I do like it to be a close game, a physical game. And it's a 6:30 game too, so anything can happen at night. But I'm willing to see what the moxie is of Dante Moore, right? We talk about him all year. He's got Oregon, top 15 offense, top 10 offense, what have you, but they haven't played anybody. Montana State, Oklahoma State, Northwestern, Oregon State, who's okay, but they haven't really played anybody. And so Oregon's going to have to, get it going. And 11 touchdowns and 1 interceptions with 74% completion percentage is pretty damn good for Dante Moore. And when he was a 5-star, the best quarterback recruit out of the nation when he went to UCLA, right? So he's a guy that can really is a great talent. But Oregon's going to have to run the football against Penn State over there in order to be successful. And I don't think they'll be able to, get it on the ground, especially on the edges, in my opinion, where I think Penn State's pretty strong. So give me Penn State to win this football game. And then my upset of the week is actually a big one, and that's Washington at home. They're about to storm the field against Ohio State this week. Yes, book it, Jetfish. I know, Matt James is like Jetfish, former Arizona football coach. He had his first year at Washington last year. But I think Washington's going to be going to have a hell of a game. They're going to have a hell of a game plan for Ohio State, and this is a trap game for Ohio State. You got to go all the way to the West Coast. It's going to be just absolutely insanely loud for on the field for Washington. And I mean, they got a guy in Jonah Coleman who leads the nation in rushing touchdowns at 9. Damon Williams is a hell of a dual threat quarterback for Washington, which I think can give Ohio State some problems in this game. So give me Washington to win this football game at home.
Man, I want to agree with you again so bad, Izzy, but defense travels. And I think Matt Patricia, he's going to have this defense ready to play. They're going to throw a lot of different looks at you. They're going to put Caleb Downs in that box. I think he's the best player on this entire Ohio State team. And I think he's the most important defensive player too. A guy you can play inside, a guy you can play outside, a guy you can play to drop back in coverage, a guy who's just always finding his way. He's that magnetic force to the football, and I think he's going to be the difference maker in this game. This is why you brought him back, was for a game of this magnitude. I like Ohio State, but it's not going to be given to them. They're going to have to go out there and earn this one.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm going to take give me Arkansas against Notre Dame.
Ooh.
I mean, SEC, Fayetteville. I mean, I just got weird vibes of last year's Tennessee game. Tennessee coming in, solid team, looking to, get things, really started against, another SEC foe. And that's what Notre Dame's trying to do, is get things going. And I feel like they're going to hit a brick wall again. And it's going to be a close one, but give me Arkansas to slow down Notre Dame. I like, the way Taylon Green has been playing so far this year. So give me Arkansas.
Absolutely. You got any upsets, Christian?
Nah, man, I don't have anything this time around. I'm just really looking forward to seeing a lot of great action. It's week 5. It just seemed like we were just getting everything geared up, and we were talking about Texas, Ohio State a couple weeks ago, and then look, now, we're slowly but surely and steadily moving along.
That was a couple days ago. It seemed like.
Absolutely.
Can I do ASU too?
Yeah, absolutely. And then going over to our Heisman rankings at the top, man. I mean, this is the biggest shuffle. I think this year's Heisman Award is every week. I think there's a new favorite, in my opinion. I really don't know who the hell to pick. There's no standouts. And this week, I have to go with Fernando Mendoza all the way to the tippy top. I mean, the way he's got Indiana right in prime position in the thick of the Big Ten. Again, not, Curtis O'Rourke was a quarterback last year, but Fernando Mendoza's come in, completing 76% of his passes. He's got a top 15 quarter. He's number 11 in QBR, 14 touchdowns, no interceptions. And he's got one of the best offenses. He's leading one of the best offenses in the nation right now. So he's got to be at the top of my Heisman list, in my opinion. The way he's playing. And then obviously Carson Beck. I think if we're looking at a constant of a couple guys in the rankings, it's Carson Beck and Dante Moore. I think nobody could really argue that those guys have been in the top 3 all year, the way they played. Carson Beck has really elevated Miami to another height of success this season that particularly Cam Ward just didn't. And we can say because Carson Beck has that that championship grit, that grit, right? That mentality, that where he's elevating Miami to another level. And then Gunnar Stockton, obviously, he's kind of been hanging around in those Heisman rankings. Another guy that I really like is Jeremiah Smith. He's climbed up, and has had him and Julian Sand have got put on the radar a little bit. From that first game of the season. After that first game, they got the cobwebs off. Now they're playing at a high level. Julian Sand looks like the 5-star quarterback that Ohio State brought in. And then Garrett Nussmeier, he's actually went down in the rankings, in my opinion, with his play. Not sure if it's just lack of weapons. Not sure if it's teams are just kind of they just kind of know what not Chip Kelly, but Brian Kelly is going to run. So they're just kind of loading up on certain weaknesses against Garrett Nussmeier, but he hasn't really been playing himself as like he did last season. So he's on the outside looking in, but that's TBD right now. But yeah, Fernando Mendoza, he's got the top nod right now in the Heisman rankings, which is pretty crazy. John Mateer being out a month is going to hurt him in the Heisman rankings. So I think you can kind of kiss his Heisman chances a little bit goodbye there. In a way, because he probably would have been at my top spot, but he's you miss a month and a half or so with a broken hand. I mean, that's like 5-6 games right there. You're done for when it comes to the Heisman rankings. Another guy to kind of look out for, Marcel Reed, Texas A&M, playing this week. So those are just some guys right there for the Heisman rankings. But it's wide open race, in my opinion, guys. I mean, it's a wide open race. Anybody can take this Heisman Trophy. One guy that you don't see on there is Arch Manning. Okay.
Yeah. He shouldn't be on here. But I agree.
Well, he's got his chance, right? Red River. He's got his chance to kind of get back put on the radar if he plays well against in the Red River game against Oklahoma. That's when you'll probably see him back on the Heisman rankings if he elevates Texas and they get better. But you don't get no cool points for beating Sam Houston. No, you don't. You don't get no cool points for beating Sam Houston and taunting Sam Houston players when you get touchdowns. That's not gonna get you back on the Heisman rankings. Just saying.
I agree with you.
I mean, as you said, every single week this season, it's pretty much just mixing it up. I mean, new names, new players throughout the list. I mean, we've had seasons where the top 3 barely changes. But this season, I think the top 3's changed every single week. I mean, rightfully so, too. So hopefully we'll start to get some guys that'll start sticking up there as the season progresses. I mean, a big one for, as we talked about, for Mendoza, Dante Moore, Gunnar Stockton, big games tomorrow for all 3 of them to really show, they go in, win those games, and they can, solidify themselves in the top 3, top 4 for weeks to come.
Absolutely. And I think a guy that needs to get some consideration is Justice Haynes. No disrespect to Justin Haynes. If Michigan was ranked a little higher, I think he should definitely be on the Heisman rankings. And he's going to slowly. He's like one of my top 5 dark horses. Not quite yet in the top 7, just because of the ranking for Michigan, but Michigan lands in that top 15 range, top 10 range. We can start calling Justice Haynes' name as a potential Heisman Trophy candidate this season. Anyways, that's been it for the show. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast here at Prime Sports World, and make sure to catch Christian's preview of Oregon Penn State an hour before kickoff at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. So you don't want to miss that, guys. And anyways, it's been a fun, eventful Friday. Before I get up out of here, I just want to give everybody a shout out. That's Christian Simpson from the Daily Business Blog. That's Matt James, and I'm Israel Rivera. And in case I missed you, ladies and gentlemen out there, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
He just threw that thing off the backboard like T-Mac in '02 at the All-Star game just for me to say, holla at your boy.
Holla at your boy, and we will see you back here on Monday for the
Have a great weekend.
NFL review show. Peace out, guys.
Be safe.